What is up, everyone? It's been a crazy week. Um, all right, so first things first, I want to just go ahead and make this very clear. I am really depressed right now. I am actually not feeling. I'm definitely feeling really low. Because in a couple of days, I will have been. I will have. No, I want to say I've made it a year here in Texas, and like I figured now would be kind of a good time to sort of revisit on everything that's happened to me while I've been in Texas. Well, because and like around this time last year, I decided that it was definitely time for me to try to chase my dream to become a professional wrestler. So I packed up everything and I moved. I packed up everything, moved from living with my roommates in Georgia, and went over here to Texas on my own. In the process, I was homeless. If you go back a year ago, also as I can obviously tell, I'm not the most fashionable person, but I try to work with what I got. I try to like mix it up a little bit. I'm not great at it, but yeah. So like I said, so for the first month I was here in Texas, I was homeless until I ultimately moved into this apartment where I have had for the past year because I was working at my job for the past year. I to this day I still have no clue how I managed to survive as long as I did, and I have nothing. I give nothing but thanks to my friends, some of my family members, and people who have just reached out to try to help me out during some of the times where I was just in a really bad way. Because no matter how hard I worked, and no matter how much I looked for another job, I haven't gotten another job yet. And no matter how hard I've worked, I still never had enough money to like be able to pay for the piling on of bills that have came my way. So to my friends and to my family and to anybody who has chosen to reach out and help me in this past year, I really 100% appreciate it. But obviously, I'm still a little depressed because I'm always going to need their help because I'm in a position right now where it just feels like I say, my job and the money that I have, everything that I'm trying to do right now, I'm trying to do on my own. I'm trying to fix these problems on my own, and it's very frustrating. And like I don't. It's not that I don't like asking for help. I just don't want to be a burden on anybody. So rather than ask for help, I would rather complain about the fact that I'm having a hard time doing things than ask people for money. Because it's like if I ask people for money, then it's gonna look like, oh, he's just trying to get money out of us. But if I'm just saying everything I'm doing isn't working and I'm trying to fix the problem on my own, that's not me trying to appeal to anybody's emotional need to help out anybody as much as just me just being so frustrated with how things are going in my attempt to try to help myself that all I can do is at least gripe about it. You know what I mean? That's what I do. I rather gripe about something than ask for help. I feel like that's bad. That sounds bad to hear out loud, like for me to say. Um, Gonna talk about politics because it is in fact political season. I hate how my hair is looking. Uh, I picked it out and I brushed it. I don't know if y'all can tell, but I'm definitely overdue for another haircut, and I definitely am going to try to get a hold of my cousin and try to get that to happen. I'm just really kind of disappointed in myself. I haven't been able to visit my cousin as much as I'd like to because of financial issues, and I haven't had enough gas in my car. It's like he literally lives right down the street, and I have to preserve gas so I can go to work because I work like a good, I want to say it's a 20-minute drive from here. If not, I think it's like 25 minute drive from here because of the fact that jobs that are near me aren't hiring. But the fact of the matter is, though, is that like it is political season, it is political year, and as much as I don't like the political season and the political times that we are in currently, I I'm aware of how relevant and how important it is for this stuff to actually be capable and be possible. So is while it does frustrate me that this happening again, I I'm aware of how necessary it is. Obviously, this past week has been ridiculous. Biden pulled out of the race and endorsed Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is running for president now. So right now you have Trump versus Harris, possibly. I mean, also there are other options, people. There are other options, but the fact of the matter is that we can talk about those other options after it's safe to have those options still. Because Trump basically went on television. He went in front. He went on a microphone in front of a standing, a cheering crowd, and said, "You vote for me, you never have to vote for again. Vote. You have to vote. You never have to vote again." And people cheered that. People cheered that, bro. When I was when I was a kid, growing up, I really need to stop saying when I was a kid growing up. It's redundant. I was a kid and I was also growing up. Growing up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, I was always trained on the idea that being a Republican meant you wanted to have your rights. Russia is bad. Um, Having welfare is bad, which is like really weird. And but mostly like having your rights. You know what I mean? Just having your rights. They never exactly specify what those rights actually are. If I ever were to ask what are rights, they would just be like, do your research. You know what I'm saying? But they never specify what rights actually are. But once I realized what rights could possibly be, and I learned that voting is one of those things, part of me would like to just sort of think that in the back of their minds, a Republican nominee that thinks that Putin is awesome, autocracies are okay, would be a dictator for a day, and also wants you to not vote anymore. It's like in my brain, this like part of me wants to believe that they were always this evil, but another part of me, I do not like showing my legs. But part of me wants to believe that they were always I always say to myself, Republicans are always this dumb. They were always this evil. They were always this way. But part of me doesn't want to believe that because I grew up around people who supported that party and believe in stuff that is completely different from what it is now. So either they were lying back then, or they're just stupid enough to go along with what's happening now just because they say it's Republican. Republican is your party. It's like Republican is a party for white people. You're a white person. You go support everything that we do. And it's like, what? No, Republican is a party. Republican is a party for people who are Republican. It's not for white people. Shut up, liberal. You know what I'm saying? It's just like it's very, very, very frustrating to know that this is like he really went on. He really and people it wasn't the fact that he said, vote for me, you never have to vote again, or this will be the last time you ever have to vote. It will have it so great that you'll never have to vote again, stuff like that. It wasn't that he said that. It was the fact that people cheered for it. There was no boos. There was no O's. There was no what. There was no what moment for these guys. It was just he said it and we're gonna cheer for it. That annoys me. That agitates me, man. That's like how do y'all fall so low like that? Like what? It's like even even if I was, I'm obviously, as y'all obviously know, I'm not gonna vote for Trump. I'm voting against Trump. Okay, I'm not voting for anybody. I'm voting against Trump. But the fact of the matter is that even if there was an inkling of me that was a Republican, that would just I'm black. I'm black. There's my ancestors fought like hell to try to get those rights to begin with, and now this idiot is basically saying, I'm going to take it away from all of you. Don't worry. It's going to be perfect. And people are like, heck yeah, we don't need to vote anyway. It really stresses me out because this, like, the level of stupidity that comes, these are adults. I can understand that these were kids or teenagers who are they don't really know what's going on to care. They feel like they don't care about what's going on, but these are adults. You know what I mean? These are adults who spent their entire time playing the game and winning the game. And now they're basically saying, we want to make it so that nobody can play the game anymore. Not even us. We win so much, we don't even need to play anymore. Nobody needs to play anymore. This game should just be all about what we voted for. It's like, no, I'm sorry. It's just it's really kind of dumb because I'm trying to find the words for how stupid this is. You know what I mean? I grew up, everything I have been taught as a kid is just every so often I'm just like I like to think that I'm not naive enough to think to like have enough hope for people to believe at 100% what they said. But growing up back then, I did 100%. And it just feels like and my whole thing is that like I always take what people say at face value. I try my best not to read into what anybody says, because if I do, I automatically go to the worst thing possible, because of the fact that it's like, because of the fact that it's like bad things in my brain, bad things happen more than good things do. So I try my best to just sort of just like clean slate people. So if somebody just says I'm a Republican and I ask what that means, if they just say it means I'm a Republican, in my brain I'm like, okay, that they don't know what being a Republican is, and they're just calling themselves that. That's what I go by, because it's like, but it's like then you have these people who come in, they're fascists, they're bigots, they're evil, and they're dumb. They are so these people are adults. The word Republican is just a word, people. You can literally just say you're not a Republican anymore and just not be one. You can literally, nothing will change. Nothing will be undone. Nothing. You could just, that's one reason why I used to think that I was a Democrat back then. I used to think that I was a Democrat back then because, because I didn't like Republicans. Because Republicans taught me if you didn't like them, you were a Democrat. Until I learned about what Democrat actually meant, or what it meant to be a Democrat, I'm like, I'm not that either. I'm not a fan of weed. I don't like weed. I don't like people smoking weed. But I'm not gonna vote for people to not do it, because some people do that stuff for health reasons. And also, it's not my business. If these people want to smoke weed, all I can do is just bow out. I'm gonna just go my own direction. I'm gonna leave those people alone to smoke their weed. Or rather, you know what I'm saying? If I don't like abortions. I can't stress enough. That's a very controversial thing. I'm not a fan of abortions, but I'm aware that it's healthcare. Some women will need that. You know what I'm saying? It's not just killing a baby, as much as it's simply it's a scientific process that I, as a man, will most likely never understand as much as they would. You know what I'm saying? There's also some women out there who can't have kids, who like maybe they're born with something that's going on, and their body can't produce children, or can't produce the eggs or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and what if they want kids? And and there's people out there who just basically saying, oh well, the process of them having kids, they're gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's like, but while I am in fact not a fan of abortion, I'm not gonna be like, yo, I don't like that stuff. I think it's icky, so nobody should have it. That's messed up. I'm basically saying that people should be denied healthcare just because I don't like the healthcare that they're given. That's stupid. That's messed up. That's entitled. I'm not allowed. I shouldn't be allowed to do that. Nobody should be allowed to do that. You ready? So it's like, but there's some Democrats out there that do, in fact, are cool with abortion and are cool with, weed or whatever. So it's like, hey, I can't call myself a Democrat because those guys would be cool with. Some of those guys are cool with it, and I'm not cool with it. I'm also not cool with crime. I'm not a fan of crime, but I do feel like if we're gonna be tough on crime, we have to be tough on all crime, and not just some crime. We can't just be tough on crime when there's a person of color doing it. We have to be tough on crime when it's a business CEO doing it, when it's a rich guy doing it, when it's an elderly white guy doing it. Why did it take 40 years for Jeffrey Epstein to get caught doing the stuff that he was playing in people's faces about? We really need to talk about Florida. We really do need to actually sit down and talk about Florida. We really do need to just sort of just have a discussion about Florida. Jeffrey Epstein, Florida. Tiger King, Florida. Doc Antle, probably also Florida. Donald Trump, Florida. Matt Gates, Florida. What is up with these dudes who are doing things to children in Florida? What is that about? We need to have that conversation. Andrew Jackson established Florida. I'm sorry, that's neither here nor there. But the fact of the matter, Donald Trump liked President Andrew Jackson. Hold on. But the fact of the matter is that we're having. But right now, though, this is a very political time for us to just sort of be around right now. And I guess part of me just really wants to say that, we really just need to pay attention to what's happening in this country. We need to pay attention to what's going on in America. We really do. This is a very important time. And I want to say this right now. we really do need to like understand specifically what is at stake here, because I would rather be able to say that the president is doing a bad job than get hanged for saying it. With that being said, though, I'm gonna go ahead and head out. Love, peace, and happiness to every single person out there. Um, Also, I might in another video talk about what I would do if I was president, because this video is 15 minutes long and you don't need a 30. Love and peace, y'all.